Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm a short, overweight, middle-aged white dude. I've got thinning brown hair, black gloss. I'm wearing a black t-shirt with my logo on. I'm sitting in my Tesla Model Y with my family because we're going on a road trip. We are going on a family holiday, a short trip to Adelaide. We're actually right now crossing the Westgate Bridge, and I thought you might be interested in joining us for the journey. So a couple of little things just to give you the basics of road tripping in an electric car. One of the most important things I think to realize is with electric cars, you actually don't want to charge the battery up to 100% when you're doing a long road trip, because the way that the batteries work is that they will charge the quickest when they are between 20 and 80%. So pretty much every place that you go, and this truck's going to slow us way down, and you know what? We're on the Westgate, we're not going to change lanes, we're just going to live with it. Even though Autopilot is going, change lanes, change lanes, change lanes. So your battery could charge up from 20% to 80% in 10 to 15 minutes, whereas that last 80 to 100% could take half an hour. So when you're on long road trips, the ideal situation is to get to most chargers, around the 20%, 30, 40% mark of your battery, charge up to 80, and then head off to the next supercharger or the next fast charger. So that's the first thing to look at. Now let's have a quick look at sort of what the maps were saying to us when we started this journey. So one of the really nice features of the Tesla is that it can integrate with your calendar. So I put the address of the hotel where we're staying in my calendar, and so I could just go into that calendar on the car and pull the address out from that and pop in the address. Now when we left, the car was saying that we should get to our first charging stop, which is Ballarat, with 51%, but we've been in a fair bit of traffic just getting to the Westgate, and it's now predicting that we will be there with 58%. So that should be interesting. The other thing is, this is our first long road trip as a family with enhanced autopilot. Now, I've used referral credits to get enhanced autopilot for 3 months. Thank you very much for everyone who's used my referral code. I'll put a link down below. Feel free to use it some more. But yeah, so that should be a little bit interesting. We'll get into details of that a little bit later. Mandy, anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm excited.
Yeah?
I'm excited. This is fun.
Yeah. Archie, you excited? He's nodding. Right, well, I think that's pretty much... just one little thing that something that I don't love about the navigation system in the Tesla is that, you see, at the moment it's showing us to our next destination. So it's showing us that we're going to get to Ballarat, which is our first charging stop. We'll get there in 1 hour and 13 minutes. We'll get there with 58% battery. We'll see what that is when we actually get there. We know that navigate on autopilot is set to here, and I think, was I supposed to go there? No, we're good. It's talking and not paying attention to the map. So also, for anyone who lives in Melbourne, the bit where you get just over the Westgate towards Geelong, this mess, which has been a mess for years now.
Forever.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful when it's done, but it can be quite confusing as to what lane you're supposed to be in, what lane you're not supposed to be in, all that kind of jazz. What was I yammering on? That it doesn't show the whole trip. So you've got to scroll down like this for it to show you the whole trip, and then it will show you that, we should get to Ballarat with, now it's predicting 59%, and we'll charge for 10 minutes in Ballarat. Then we will go to Horsham. We should get to Horsham by 1:32, and we should get there, upcoming lane change. So this is navigate on auto. The car is going to change lanes for us.
I still find this nerve-wracking.
Yes. Now changing lanes is fine. So I've got it set to where the car will tell me when it wants to change lanes, and then I have to indicate and give a little bit of force to the steering wheel, and then the car will change lanes. I don't have a where it will. You can set it so it will just change lanes whenever it feels it should.
Freaks me out.
Yeah, and I don't trust the car that much. But with navigate on auto, if you're going from one highway to another highway, it will, in fact, there we go, it's suggesting that we change lanes. I'm going to indicate. It says apply slight force, and there we go. The car just changed lanes for. Now it's saying change lanes again. And if there was a car in the lane where it was trying to go, it would show the car as red, and it would wait until the car passed, and then it would change lanes. And I'll cover this in a little bit more detail a little bit later when I do a whole bit about Autopilot, because it is really cool, and it does definitely make long drives like this so much easier. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, now just getting back to that. So it's saying, right, Ballarat's our first charging stop. Get there with 59%, charge for 10 minutes. We'll probably charge for longer because we can't all pee in 10 minutes.
Nope.
Horsham, we should get there with 16%. It's saying charge for an hour and 5 minutes. That
Maybe
seems,
that charger isn't a really slow charger.
yeah, that seems long.
It does.
And then Tailem Bend, which is Keith, get there with 20% charge for 15 minutes, and we should get to the Oaks, Glenelg. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. Glenelg. Let's go with Glenelg. We should get there with 10%. Now, this is not what it's going to be, because we'll end up charging for longer at most places because we just end up waiting for more. So maybe it knows we want. Now, I think two of these chargers are 120 kilowatt chargers, and one of them is 250 kilowatt charger. Now, this car can charge up to 170 kilowatts. Now, we should be on the M80.
Oh, we're in the wrong lane.
We're in the wrong lane. Now, see, this is where I think the cars, we need to be over there. And you see now it's showing that, okay. Right. Well, clearly the car is just as confused as we are about the lanes we have to be in, because notice how the car told us to get all the way over to the left.
It did. And now we're in the wrong lane.
And now we're in the wrong lane because we should have stayed over to the right.
And we're now going to Geelong instead of Ballarat.
So we're going to have to take the first turn off.
We are.
I know where that is because I've done this before, because I usually do this. Hang on, I didn't want to turn that off. I wanted to indicate. And so, yes.
AI will not be taking over the world anytime soon.
Yeah, see, this is why I don't really worry about AI that much, because the A is not very I. I know it wants us to get... No, I'll tell you what. Yeah. See? Look, it's going, in the next 2.4 kilometers, take the first turn off because we're going to have to turn around and go all the way back. Well, you don't watch my channel for a perfect ride, do you? Stop
It's
it.
entertaining.
It's entertaining. So, okay, no, actually, left lane in. So, well done, car, for at least getting us out of that lane. What are you indicating? There's no lane there. No, stop it. Okay. Yes, so this car can charge up to 170 kilowatts. Yeah, we'll talk about the charging later.
Can we just focus on getting there?
Yeah, let's just get onto the right front, and we'll sort everything out after. By the way, you will notice that the quality of this footage is not up to the usual spec that I normally would have. But I thought, since I'm traveling with the family, I wouldn't set up my usual camera setup.
And we appreciate this.
And we're just filming this on GoPros. So hopefully the content's good and you stick with us. And yes, so I'll keep rolling just to get us over this little thing that we have to get to. So in 900 meters, now you see how it's showing us that the car behind us now. Why are you telling me to get into that lane? That lane just disappeared. Wow.
A is not very I.
A is not very I. I think I should. Yes. Oh yeah. No, I should keep my hands in the wheel. You should bloody well pay attention.
Next T-shirt that you make?
A is not very I. I think let's get it. Yeah, let's get some T-shirts printed. And look, we're gonna go around. Oh, we have fun, don't we?
Yeah.
Now it's okay. So now, because we're on Navigate on Auto, which worked out so well so far. Okay. So I'm not doing that.
Jesus.
Okay, I just did that because I had to take over. It's okay.
It's fine.
So it was indicating, it was going into the lane.
And then it got confused.
And then it got confused and it sort of veered to the right a bit. So, colour me unimpressed. to its defense,
Yes.
to Autopilot's defense, the lane markings all over this section of road are a complete mess.
They are.
So I have had it work perfectly fine when it's not a place that's under construction.
So Melbourne.
You mean not Melbourne?
Yeah, because Melbourne is always under construction,
Yes,
so it doesn't work in Melbourne.
But once you get out of Melbourne and you get onto the open road, as they say, it works much better.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's one thing that I was actually, well, excited's not the right word, but something that I was keen. Hey, look, I would like to point out, hang on, let's see if we can see it on the camera. The Mini that's behind us is the Mini that was trying to get into the lane next to us. So that means the Mini behind us has made the exact same mistake that we have made.
It's not a difficult mistake to make.
It's not a difficult
So
mistake.
that whole intersection is extremely confusing,
Yeah. Now, the car should indicate,
but it's not.
well, we're in the lane already, so it didn't need to indicate. Clever car.
Yes, yes. That A, so I.
I'm not falling for that. See, it's telling me to change lanes. I'm not falling for that one again. Actually, no, we do need to change lanes once we get onto here, because this lane,
I feel like people should vote for the t-shirt that they buy.
Oh, that's a good idea. Vote in the comments.
Vote in the comments.
Now, this is interesting. Now, I was a little bit anxious there because we're going around a bend and I got the car to change lanes. So Autopilot did that, and it did it very well, didn't it?
It did. Can't argue with that.
Can't
I'd
argue-
like to, but I can't.
Yeah. And here comes the Mini, who's on the same journey as we are. And see, it got us out of that lane because that lane is ending.
Yes, very well done.
Very well done. And now, when you're on Autopilot, oh no, I'll try. Well, of course, now it's trying to get back into the lane that just ended. So you know,
Not so I.
not so. I don't. The lane changes just. I don't know what it's thinking.
Yeah. It's as if it kind of goes, you need to be in the leftist lane, but it does it a little bit too early. So it says, oh, you need to be in the leftist lane, there's another leftist lane. Oh, wait, that's ending.
I suppose. Well, I mean, it is using cameras to do all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I suppose the cameras just can't see that far ahead. But you'd think, again, if it was really intelligent,
Yeah.
it would combine the information from the cameras
With the map.
with the map.
Yeah.
Then again, the map must be so bloody confused because the roads have changed so much.
Well, these maps really need to be updated as well, though.
Yes.
And like in Map's defense, in Tesla's defense, in whatever's defense, that intersection is constantly changing and very confused. So, and very confusing. It's confused and confusing. But with these kind of lane markings, it should know.
Yeah.
Because they haven't changed.
No,
But yeah,
no.
I don't know.
So, a quick thing about Autopilot, and then we will sign off and pick up when we're headed into our first charging stop, or unless something interesting happens along the way. So, the way Autopilot works on the Tesla, and you will have seen this in all of my other videos before, but you might be watching this video for the first time. You might be coming to my channel for the first time, so let's cover it quickly. So, to turn on Autopilot, which is the adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist, to turn on the adaptive cruise control, you push down once on the right hand stalk, and you can see there that I know that it's turned on because it shows the max speed, and I've got it set. Now you can set this to your preference, like you can have it automatically go to the speed limit, but I prefer to have it go to the speed that I'm going so that the car doesn't immediately go slower or faster. Now to adjust it by 1, you can use, hang on, let's check where we, wait, do we need to be, yes, we're going off here.
Thank
Paying attention, don't worry. Look at me multitasking. So, to adjust it by increments of 1, you use the dial on the right hand side, and that goes up by 1. To go by increments of 5, you flick up the dial, and it goes up by 5. If you did want to set the speed to the speed limit, you can also just tap the speed limit.
I always forget that.
I often forget it as well. Now to turn on the lane keep assist and to turn on the Autopilot, what Tesla calls Autopilot, you push down twice on the right hand stalk, and already it wants me to change lanes. I'm just going to get it to change lanes, and we'll do that again in a bit. And the way that you know that the Autopilot is available is this little steering wheel will appear. If that steering wheel isn't there, it won't appear.
Yeah.
And it seems very keen to get in and out of lanes for some reason. It wants me to show you how the lane changing works.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Considerate.
Now, the lane keep assist that comes with the Teslas, which is called Autopilot, you'll have the 2 blue lines on the outside of the car here, and that will keep you in your lane. Now, it's very good for keeping you in your lane.
Yeah. Sometimes a little bit over enthusiastic.
Sometimes a little bit over enthusiastic, but generally very good for keeping you in the lanes. And it's fantastic for long drives because it will allow you still have to concentrate, you still have to keep your hands on the wheel. In fact,
and especially you still need to pay attention to exits.
Pay attention to exits and so on. But how it works is that instead of having to concentrate like 95% of the time, you can concentrate 75-80% of the time. Well, that much you concentrate all the time, but less concentration.
You know what? It's less of the having to be 100% focused on holding and lanes and the whole lot. You can just, it's not as exhausting. It's not as tiring.
Yeah, it's not as tiring. So definitely after a long trip, you won't feel as tired. Now, I'm actually just going to change those because all these trucks are coming up. Now, that's the built-in autopilot that comes with the car. If you get enhanced autopilot, which is a $5,100 in-app purchase, or you can use 8,000 referral credits to subscribe to it for 3 months, which is what we've done, that gives you a few extra features. So one of the really handy features that it gives you is lane changing. So with the one that's built in, if you want to change lanes, as soon as you turn on the indicator or you turn the wheel, the lane keep assist will turn itself off. And so you change lanes and then you have to turn the autopilot back on. Whereas now, because I've got the enhanced autopilot and I've deliberately not put my hands on the wheel, you see how it's flashing blue there? So if you don't put a little bit of tension on the steering wheel, it'll turn itself off. And now it's showing me that it wants to change lanes. Now I've got it set where I have to actually put the indicator on and give the wheel a little bit of a tap for the car to change lanes. But you can also set that to, it will just decide when the lanes need change, and it'll do everything for you. As you can see, I don't quite trust the car to do that. And if you want to see more details about enhanced autopilot and how all the settings work and everything like that works, I'll put a link to a video that I did on enhanced autopilot up in the corner here. Now it's probably going to want us to change lanes because this truck in front of us is going a bit slow, so let's see how long it takes for it to tell us to change lanes.
It's pretty happy at the moment.
It's pretty happy at the moment. Oh no, here we go, we're slowing down quite a bit. See, that's random. Normally would have told us. So let's tell it that we want to change lanes, and I indicated, gave a bit of a to the steering wheel. But what I found though is you have to be very gentle with the steering wheel, because it's very easy to give a little bit too much to the steering wheel, a little bit too much of a turn, and that then turns the autopilot off. So definitely something to be aware of there. It's very windy.
If I could just subscribe to one feature out of the whole enhanced autopilot thing, it's flashing, I would subscribe to that, because I find it really stressful changing lanes in the freeway, and especially at night driving the freeway, I find it extremely stressful. So Elon, if I could just have that feature, I would pay monthly for it.
Well, if we get enough referrals, we can just keep renewing the subscription every 3 months. So thank you. Okay, look how close this truck is. Like, it doesn't really show in that. Yeah. And surely the truck realizes that we are in the right-hand lane because we're waiting to overtake this oversized vehicle, and then we will get out of the right-hand lane so this truck can go as fast as they like. I know I'm in the right-hand lane and I have the sheer nerve
to drive the speed limit.
In the right-hand lane. How dare I? To get to the speed limit, just tap and it'll change. And now as soon as this guy gets past us, we will get into the right-hand lane. And you saw there for a moment that it did show that car was red, so it's not gonna. So if you do try and change lanes when there's cars in the lane, so you can see there now there's all cars in the lane. So if I indicate, and you see it showed that car was red. See, it's
very sensitive.
No, I reckon it's the wind.
You think it's the wind?
It's very windy. Like, I can feel the car kind of struggling against the wind. Okay, now here's some. Okay, so you see there how it turned the enhanced autopilot, the Navigate and Auto turned it on and off. Simon and I found this on our way back from Wodonga when we turned this all on. When the car is passing, like if there's like a road crossing off the highway, it'll turn itself off. It'll go back to normal autopilot. It'll still, so it still stays in the lane, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it'll turn the Navigate on auto off.
Can I show you something interesting?
Yes.
We're now going straight to Horsham.
Ooh.
Because it's saying 24% to Horsham now.
Interesting.
So it's saying we don't need to stop in Ballarat and we can go straight through to Horsham. So we got 2 hours and 53 minutes.
Interesting. Well, we might need a P stop.
We might need a P stop.
So we'll see how that goes, but well spotted.
Yep.
So this is one of the really great things of, watch out for the dead kangaroo. This is one of the really great things about the Tesla and the way that the navigation works, because it's smart enough to kind of look at the conditions and go, oh yeah, you should have, go to Ballarat to be on the safe side. But now that it's seeing that we should get to Horsham with above 20%, although now it dropped from 24 to 23.
It did.
But we'll see how we go. And you can actually bring this consumption thing up, and it'll show. See, there we go.
Yes.
A 23.7 kilometre wind from the north has cost us 0.1%. Now, we've also dropped down to 90.
Now it's dropped down to 22, so it might change back to Ballarat.
It might change back to Ballarat. We will update you shortly.
Yes. So we're down, it's showing us now Supercharger at Horsham. We'll get there with 10%.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the lowest that I've ever driven the car and had the battery showing to it. I've got a little bit of range anxiety, right? And I know we'll be fine, and it's just, my brain logically is telling me that's 9%. Now it's changed to Ballarat. Okay. But I was just thinking that even if it's quite confused. But if I had in my ice, 21%, it's really confused. But in my car, which is not an EV, if I had navigation showing me where I'd get to with petrol, I probably would have the same kind of, I need to stop to fill up, because I don't like getting close to empty in my car anyway. And I know, like, it's funny, it's that logical part of me going, it's fine, but the fear part of me is going, no, that's too low.
But it's interesting how, so, like, it was saying for a moment there that we were going to get to Horsham with 10, then 9%.
Yep.
And now suddenly it's okay, no, go to Ballarat. And now it's going, oh no, you probably get to Horsham with 21%. I'd love to know what it's using to calculate all of this.
Yeah.
Like, is it, because now this car in front of us is going quite slow, so this is going to slow us up. And it was telling us to change lanes, but there was a car coming up, so I didn't want to change lanes yet. There we go. In fact, it's funny, like, just quickly after we stopped recording, I said to Mandy, now we should have done that whole recording thing then, because it was a straight road, not a lot of cars around, everything was fine. But for some reason, all the drama happened when, I'm supposed, people like, you viewers love drama, so that's great for you.
Entertainment.
Entertainment. I hope it's entertaining. And I was saying to Mandy how I felt like I wasn't explaining things properly. So I just feel like I need to explain. It's my training background. There's a couple of things about how an electric car works. So something that you may not be aware of it. Electric cars do this really cool thing called regenerative braking, which is basically, or it's called one pedal driving as well, which is basically as you lift your foot off the accelerator. If you've ever driven a golf cart, it's exactly like that. As you lift your foot off the accelerator, the car will use the energy of the wheels. Like the car will basically slow the wheel. It's like a dynamo. So the car will slow the wheels down, but it'll use the energy that it's getting from slowing the wheels down, and it'll put that energy back in the battery.
Yeah.
So the way that that's represented on the Tesla is this bar up here. So when it's black, the car is pulling energy out of the battery, and when it goes over to that side and it's green, the car is putting energy back into the battery. And so at the moment, you know, we're pulling a lot of energy out of the battery because we're going up a hill at 110 kilometers an hour. And you'll see that as we get over the crest of this hill, and the car will use regenerative braking to slow the car down. And let's just get across to overtake this truck. By the way, just something that we noticed as well, just when we stopped recording, is that the autopilot, so like we were over in the right-hand lane and I wasn't going to get over to the left-hand lane because I could see a truck like, you know, 400, 500 meters down the road. A little bit further, a little bit closer?
No, a little bit closer.
A little bit closer. I could see a truck on the left-hand side, so I was going to stay in the right-hand lane so we could overtake that truck and then we'd get over in the left-hand lane. And the car was suggesting get over into the left-hand lane, like it couldn't see the truck. And it was weird because like surely the car could see that as far as I can see and could see the truck. Now you see how there's a slight bit of green there because we're going downhill and the car's actually using the regenerative braking. I'll just turn the autopilot off for a second. And you can see now we're really using a lot of regenerative braking to slow the car down. Yeah, so that's how the regenerative braking works. Also with the charging speed, different cars will charge at different speeds. So for example, if this was a long range or performance model, basically the dual motor models, they can charge at, I think, up to like 220 to 250 kilowatts an hour, which is ridiculously fast. The entry-level Teslas, I think the Model 3 and the Model Y, the rear-wheel one, I think it can charge up to 170 kilowatts per hour, which is also really fast. Like most cars, or at least a lot of cars out there, may only charge up to 70 or 100. Now this will be interesting. There's a car stopped on the road, which is a bit of a hazard. Let's see if the autopilot freaks out or anything. Nope. That's
didn't even see the car.
Didn't even worry about it. That's nice. So yes, so this car charges really fast. The thing to keep in mind though is, you remember earlier I was saying how the batteries charge really quick between 20 and 80, and then at 80 it slows right down. You'll see as this day progresses, as the road trip progresses, when we plug in, like the car will start charging really, really quickly, and within 2 to 5 minutes, that charging speed will just gradually get slower and slower and slower as the battery fills up. A really clever thing that the Tesla does as well is preconditioning. So basically, if you navigate to a supercharger, and unfortunately this only works with Tesla superchargers, it doesn't work with non-Tesla chargers. It would be nice if you could tell the car to do it with non-Tesla chargers, but I appreciate people might get confused, and so lowest common denominator, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The car will begin warming the battery up because in order for the battery to charge its optimum level, I think it needs to be somewhere between 25 and 45 degrees Celsius. And so the car will start warming the battery up so that as you get to the charger, the battery's at its optimum temperature to charge. And again, that speeds up the whole charging process when you're on a long journey. Again, all of this is just when you're on a long journey. Like, charging is not an issue.
No, it's not.
When you're at home, because you top up a little bit every day, and it's not an issue.
Yeah.
Now, interesting, it's now dropped to predicting that we'll get to Horsham with 15%, still skipping Ballarat, which was initially the first charging stop that it was telling us to do.
We'll see how we go. It's down to 17%.
Yeah, we'll probably check in about 10-15 minutes when
it switches back to Ballarat.
When it switches back to Ballarat, it'll be interesting to. Well, I mean, I'd love to know what it's looking at. Like, is it just looking at the battery? Is it looking at the wind? Is it looking at because I mean, if it's got the map, it should know where the uphill and downhills are coming. And so obviously, like, as you're going downhill with the regenerative braking, you're putting energy back in the battery, so that's going to extend your range. But if you're driving up a hill, it's going to lower your range.
Yeah.
And that's what I was showing you earlier. So there's this energy app built into the Tesla, and we're just going to overtake a trailer soon. You were going to say?
I was going to say, see, it's now quite interesting is that it's cost 0.5% of this trip. The last time we checked, it only cost 0.1.
Yeah. So the wind, because I was saying to Mandy, it's quite windy. She was like, oh, it's windy. But it like, I could feel the car actually being buffeted a little bit by the wind. That's how windy it was. So it's interesting that I was feeling that, and then the wind is actually rating it. And if we go to consumption, we can see there that you can see where we've hit the hills. As we've gotten to like the hilly area, our consumption has, sort of gone up.
Alright.
And now we're past the trailer, so again we will change lanes. And it's still predicting we'll get to Horsham with 15%, so we'll catch you in a bit. Welcome back. We are 4 minutes away from the supercharger in Ballarat, and as predicted, the navigation went lower and lower and lower, and eventually said, no, don't go to Horsham, go to Ballarat. And funnily enough, after all of that, the original prediction when we left Melbourne, when it said we would get to Ballarat with 51%, we're going to get there with 51%. So after all of that, I think the prediction went up when we got into traffic in Melbourne. It then maybe went a little bit down for our detour on our way to Geelong, but not Geelong. And I think the biggest thing has been the wind, because I've never driven on the highway with Autopilot where I could feel the car struggling, like the car was kind of doing that every now and again, and it was struggling to keep the car steady in the wind.
Yeah.
So that's the windiest I've ever driven in. And our efficiency wasn't great, but it actually got a little bit better. So you can see it's down to 188, but at one point it was like around 195, 196, you said?
Yeah.
So the wind has really, really affected this drive. Is this person? Yes, they are. Okay. So this is lovely Ballarat. And just as well that we have to stop, because I think everyone needs a bit of a pee break.
Need to pee, I need to pee.
Need to pee. We are a family of small-bladdered people. Yeah, so we'll get there. It'll be interesting to see how fast the car charges when we're plugged in, because we're only down to 51%. And I think these charges, forgive me if I've said, Mandy's reminded me, I've said this to her plenty of times today, but I think the charges here are the older version, so they only go up to 120, I think.
Yeah.
We were tempted to go into Ballarat and stop at the ChargeFox chargers, because they've got 350 kilowatt chargers here, but because we don't need to charge that much and we won't have a particularly long stop here, it doesn't matter. It's no big deal. It's always so hard when you've been doing like highway driving for like an hour or two, and then you get back onto like street roads. It's like
So slow.
the speed limit feels like you're standing still.
Yeah.
Okay, so not here, I think. Yeah, where this car is. So we turn in here, I believe.
No, I think it's the next one.
It's the next one. Okay.
But I don't think I think it was kind of six.
I think so.
Six of one, half a dozen of the other, really.
Ah, maybe somehow magically it knew that these lights were out. Oh no, they aren't. Okay, never mind. But they were flashing yellow, weren't they?
Yes, but I think that's what they do here. So which I think is actually kind of good. Oh, there are the chargers.
There are the chargers.
Easy to find.
And lots of things around here.
Which will hopefully have a bathroom somewhere.
Yes.
Although none of these places are like eating places, so there might not be a bathroom. We might have to go across the road to go to the bathroom.
See how we go. Now, you see here, so it's saying charge time 50 minutes. So here's
Interesting.
It reckons we charge it for 50 minutes because it says get to Keith, you get there with minus 3%.
No, minus 31%.
Oh, minus 31.
How are we going to be driving on minus 31%?
If I can't drink, the car shouldn't be able to drink as well, because I think the car's drunk. I don't.
How are we supposed to get somewhere on minus 31%?
It's just like, for some reason, it's ignoring Horsham. Okay, very weird. Normally, it's really good. It's your fault. It's because,
My fault.
It's because you're here. Okay, let me get out quickly and plug in. And I forgot my hoodie at home, so that's great. Be a bit chilly. And yeah, so let me just show you quickly the charging process. It's very complicated how to charge a Tesla. So charging a Tesla is fairly complicated. You have to, actually I think it might be complicated because I may have parked too far away. So you get the cable, push the button, plug it in, and that's pretty much it. You'll notice that the smugometer is quite high at this point. Wait for it to turn green, so it flashes blue, as soon as it flashes green, and the payment, all that, that's because the Tesla app has already got my credit card details in there. It works it all out. Now, why is it not? There we go, green. So let's just jump in the car quickly and see what kind of speeds we're getting. So there we go, we've popped in, and so it's racing up to 91 kilowatts, 103, 115, 100. Okay, so this isn't 100, okay, 127, 125, 126. So it looks like it's sort of topping out there. And yes, it's topping out at about 125. And that'll slow down. It's saying we'll be here for half an hour. We won't. But that's nice because there's no pressure or anything. And then we'll just...
Absolutely no pressure. We'll
keep going. And it'll work out that we need to go to Horsham as opposed to...
I mean, I'd hope so.
Going all the way to Keith.
I don't know how... I really don't know how to drive somewhere on minus 31%.
Minus 31%.
I mean, like, there's range anxiety. And then there's, like, push the car all the way there.
Hopefully it's downhill. Okay, so we will go and do what we need to do, get the charging done, and we'll catch you in a bit. You see, and this is actually the problem with superchargers sometimes. It charges too fast. So where the superchargers are, it's like in a homemaker centre, and then just across the road is a shopping centre. So we all went over there to use the bathroom. We all used the bathroom. We got Archie a donut, and already I was getting a notification on my app saying, hey, the car's almost ready to, it's almost full, come and get it. And I mean, how long were we? 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe?
15 minutes,
I don't even know. And the car's up to 95%, so we're ready to go. Also, I think the car's still drunk because now it's saying skip Horsham and go all the way to Keith, and we'll get there with 11%. We'll see. But before we go, I thought I'd cover the putt course that I got for this trip, because this is a tradition of, if we're going on a road trip, got to get some random snacks from different countries. So we've gone with an Asian theme mostly again. We've got coconut cookies.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's interesting. We've got whatever that is.
Wafer biscuity thing?
Yes.
Yes.
They're wafer thin. We've got strawberry and melon daifuku. I got it just because of the name.
Of course you did.
Is it like the other ones we got?
Yeah, they are similar. We got red bean mochi. We do love the mochi.
I especially love the...
We've got mango flavoured toffee.
Interesting.
Which should be interesting. We've got sesame seed egg rolls.
Oh my god.
We've got whatever that is.
Grape gummy candy.
Grape gummy candy.
Oh my god.
It is the season, so we got some moon cakes.
Yeah.
And I know you're probably not going to be that interested, but I also got these jellies.
Look like baby food.
Yeah, but I think that'll be cool. So that's
Look like baby food.
look like baby food. Okay, so that is. Oh, and also obviously we got dry horse and some biltong, because you can't go anywhere without dry horse and biltong. And there's Archie. Archie, we might interview you a little bit later. Okay, we'll put a microphone. We'll get your camera set up. Okay, cool. So we'll talk to you later. But we're going to pack all this away and get going. Actually, I'm going to pack it all away and get going, and you can view how the map changes. Because I reckon...
We'll be stopping in Horsham.
Oh, no, we'll definitely stop at Horsham because we need to eat something. We've got plenty of food to eat. But also, we'll stop at Horsham because I think that 11% is going to drop
Very quickly.
very, very quickly. And the weather's gotten a bit odd. So
It went from cloudy, and he went from sunny to raining. Now it's just cloudy.
Yep.
And those clouds are moving fast, which means it's quite windy. But of course it's raining because the Herberts are going on holiday. So if you have a drought anywhere, just invite us to stay. We'll bring the rain.
It would appear so. So
Bring the rain wherever we go.
it is interesting though. Oh, we're getting some side eye from that guy, I think. He was staring a bit longer than would be expected. But yeah, so how is that? So this is actually the first time. Oh, kind of. I mean, we went to Geelong. No, we went to Queenscliff and we stopped in Geelong on that first ever road trip.
Yes.
But this is your first like really long road trip where we've stopped at a supercharger. So what did you think of that little stop for the supercharger?
Look, the stop for the supercharger itself was easy and fine. Like I said, I admit to a little bit of range anxiety with the constant, oh, go here, go there, the constant changing. I know the car, it's great that the car does adjust, but I think I'm more of a, this is my route. Don't tell me to suddenly start going through to Horsham or Keith or whatever. But otherwise, it's been really smooth and it's easy.
And in terms of the location of, maybe these chargers were put in before that shopping centre came in, but
it would have been nicer if the chargers were at the shopping centre, not across the road.
Yeah, because it's a 2-lane either side road, like it's a 4-lane road. So crossing that road, look, it's really not a big deal, but the fact that we had so little, like it felt like we had to rush back to the car.
Yeah. Look, I think also that's because we arrived with 51%.
Yeah.
So we didn't actually need a lot of charging. I think would have been nicer if the chargers were at the supermarket or the shopping centre, but these said they were close. So there was lots of things there. So had we arrived with something like 30%, they had a little bit longer, it would have been fine. I still like the fact that we had time to go to the loo. We had time to pick the donuts up for Archie. I had time to get something from the pharmacy. And then being our first stop, it's actually fine. We don't need a big meal. We don't need a long stop.
Yeah.
So it was fine. It just kind of rushed us a little bit.
Yeah. And having said that, I believe that, now I don't know if these are being decommissioned or not, but I believe that there's a new set of superchargers being installed in Ballarat. In fact, I think they've been installed, they just haven't been activated yet.
Okay.
So I don't know if there'll be that one and these ones. I doubt it.
Be nice.
It would be nice.
I think it'd be nice to, unless they need to be decommissioned, like they're giving issues and all those kind of things. But I would prefer to see more chargers installed than just replaced. Because I just think with and especially if you've got Tesla superchargers opening up to non-Tesla cars, you've got that whole, people are getting the EVs and there are more affordable cars coming out. You don't want to have that situation where, as we've heard often, oh, well, the infrastructure can't deal with it, therefore we're not ready for it. We'll rather put more chargers in. As I was saying when we were driving, I actually think we passed so many petrol stations along the way, and I think it would be really good and it'd be lovely to see that if every petrol station has a fast charger or a super fast charger, and it means then that you take that pressure of having to charge up fully. You can do the usual stop at a servo along the way, plug in for 5-10 minutes while you go to the loo, like you do when you go to fill up with petrol. And I think that would go a massive way to building the infrastructure. And you're getting frustrated because you're driving in an 80 zone behind
a retiree who's
lost.
No, I think that's just the speed that they're comfortable at going.
Very possibly.
And they were moving over to the left to let people overtake.
Yes.
It's just that there were cars coming the other way, so I didn't feel it was safe to overtake. Yeah. And now, so before I put my foot down a little bit just to overtake that woman, we were going to get there with 12%. And after putting my foot down just to overtake that driver, oh no, it's back up to 12.
Back up to 12.
Back up to 12. So I reckon as soon as we hit the highway and we're doing 100 to 110, that's going to drop significantly. I will also mention that, and this is in sort of all of my other sort of driving, like long distance driving videos. We're not doing anything, like we're not trying to coast behind trucks or we're not doing anything special. We're just, we've got the car packed with our luggage. There's a sign for Adelaide, so to Adelaide we go. We've got the car packed with luggage. I've got a little bit of camera gear in the back. We're driving normally.
Yeah.
Like we're not trying to drive for electric car conditions. We're just driving. And so here we go. So Now, it's saying go all the way to Keith. There's no way we're going all the way to Keith, just simply because, well, I don't want to drive for 4 hours. 4 hours and 9 minutes. Oh, there's no way we're going to make... I don't know why it even bothers.
But also, I don't want to get somewhere at 4 o'clock. I would like to stop somewhere. I mean, it is 12 o'clock
We're
now.
going to stop for lunch.
I'd like to stop for lunch. So, that's all well and good. We're still... I have my doubts that we're going to make it. We would make it there anyway. Gosh, Car, you are so optimistic.
Yeah, see that? I don't know what it's thinking. Onto autopilot, and actually, can you grab see?
Yep.
Like it did. It's like as soon as I turned on autopilot at 110. Oh, look at that! No, go to Horsham, and we'll get to Horsham with 57. It did. Like, why bother?
Well, because we're on the cusp, right? We're absolutely on the cusp.
There is no way. Now, I love electric cars, and I'm all about electric cars.
You are.
But I've had one for a year now, and this particular... There is no way that this car is going to do 4 hours and 9 minutes of highway driving in a single charge. It's like...
No.
So...
Yep.
Yeah, so according to this, we are 177 to Horsham, 608 k's to Adelaide. Woo! Cool. We will. I don't think anything dramatic is going to happen in the next 2 hours, so we will catch you up when we get. There's no one around. Let me stay in the lane. Why do you want to? No, car. We're staying in this lane. Actually, I wonder if I tap on that. If it. No. Now. Okay, it does give that back. Oh, now here's something interesting. So it's telling me that autopilot's going to navigate on autopilot's going to end. So just quickly before I go, I don't think I showed you. So there's just a little crossroad. See just that little crossroad? And I find that whenever there's a little crossroad off of the highway, let's see, we're just passing it there. And now as we go past that, or as we go past this Downing Road, the standard autopilot will then go back to navigate on auto. And I'm not, if anyone knows why it does that, so there we go. So we've just passed it. And now it should...
I think there's another one coming up.
Another one coming up. Okay, so once we pass that one, the navigate on auto should come back. If anyone knows why it does that, maybe it's so that you can have sort of more control. I don't know why it does that.
But there's another one coming up now again, so it might just be for a while.
Might just be for a while, which is fine because like the indicating thing still works. I'd like to change lanes, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, the indicating still, everything still works. It's just you don't get the solid blue line, you get the two blue lines.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it works pretty much the same.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see if it's going to come back on now.
Yeah, so this is hopefully like the last of those roads.
Because there's another one coming up after this.
So maybe it's just this type of road.
Yeah.
Remember I was saying last night, the thing is like once you get past Ballarat, it's highway, but it's not
highway.
Highway.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, one last, I know I keep forgetting things. Just one thing I will also mention, just that I haven't mentioned with the autopilot, is to change your following distance. You just flick the right hand dial to the left or to the right. You can see that you can go all the way out to 7 car lengths, and you can go all the way down to 2 car lengths. I normally stay to 3 to 4.
Thank you for reminding me, because I always forget.
So that's how that works.
You've told me that multiple times, and I always forget.
Like and subscribe.
Wonder if there's a video I could watch.
Yeah. I'll link it up in the corner. We will catch you in a little while when we are closer to Horsham. Well, we are 6 minutes out from Horsham. It's been a fairly uneventful drive.
Yeah. We saw the Giant Koala.
We saw the Giant Koala. We got some photos. That was important. Bit odd that almost like since we left Ballarat, Autopilot, Navigate on Auto disappeared. So we don't have the Navigate on Auto there anymore. We don't have the single blue line. We've got the two blue line. I presume it's because of the roads we're on. That technically the road we're on is not a highway. But also the auto lane change. The lane change isn't working. We even pulled over. I've reset the screen. So to reset the screen on a Tesla, you hold down the two dials on the steering wheel on either side, and it resets the screen. I even turned the car off and on when we stopped at the Koala, and it just doesn't. So I don't know whether something's. I've gone into the car system and checked, and Autopilot is still available. And all the enhanced Autopilot stuff's still there. So not sure what's going on. Maybe when we get onto the highway, when we get close to Adelaide, it'll come back on. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it do this before, which is just a bit odd. But oh well, we'll see. Thoughts?
We learn something new every day.
We learned something. Another T-shirt. Although I'm sure plenty of people have got that T-shirt already. This feels like it's odd coming into Horsham. Like it's still a 70s zone, but it feels like it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It feels like we should be down to like a 60s zone. But I by the way, the other thing with the enhanced Autopilot with the navigated auto, I did also check all the cameras. We stopped at a service station, and again, it's always funny pulling into a petrol station with an electric car. But we pulled into the petrol station just to clean the windshield because I thought maybe the cameras were a bit off. And I'll show you when I get to the full speed on the adaptive cruise. Oh no! Oh, see, now it's not warning me because before it was warning me.
You're off adaptive cruise.
It was coming in saying auto steer max speed is the speed limit, which again you generally don't get.
It did come up before, so.
It did come up before.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're all pretty hungry.
Yes.
So it's just coming up to 2 p.m. now. So yes, we are 3 minutes out. We did momentarily think about stopping at the Chargefox chargers here and sticking the car onto the 50 kilowatt, the slower fast chargers, just so that we could have more time to sit and eat. But it's getting late in the day, and we whatever. So we'll go to the superchargers here. I believe there is a cafe just across the road, hopefully. So we'll park the car, plug it in, go to the cafe, and at least if it's just across the road, that means when the car is almost full, which will be pretty darn quick if Ballarat was any indication, I'll be able to just pop over across the road, just move the car, and we can just still relax and keep eating.
As long as I have food.
This supercharger does seem, we're going sort of through the centre of town, it looks like. So it does definitely seem like this supercharger is a little bit closer to stuff. I have noticed that, this is a nice little town. Like they've got a little, like a church or a town hall at the end there.
It's pretty.
Very pretty. And the weather's been pretty good.
He says there's a dark cloud.
I said it's been pretty good. I didn't say it's going to be good, but I said so far.
Blue sky, but we're driving towards a very, very grey cloud. But I wasn't expecting amazing weather because we were on holiday and the weather did say it was going to rain.
Yeah, Mandy has joked that we should sell ourselves to places that have drought, because it seems to be wherever we go on holiday, it rains.
Quite literally. Every single holiday we have taken, it has rained.
Yeah, so our services are available for hire.
Yeah. Oh, Horsham Plaza.
Now.
No, I don't. Yes. Where? Oh, there it is.
This has always been a bugbear of mine, that Tesla superchargers do not have the greatest signage. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. And we will be those people and take the middle one. I've got to remember to get very nice and close because the cables are very, very short.
Why are the cables so short?
Probably because it looks cooler. Right.
Alrighty.
Okay, hang on, wait. So I love this. So now.
Okay, now I think this is because where we are now. If we were to leave now.
Ah, okay. So if we left now, now it's told us to skip Keith now.
Yes.
So I will say the car does seem to want to keep skipping the next supercharger and go to the supercharger after, which makes sense, I suppose, because it's trying to get us there as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So let me plug in quickly. We'll see what speeds we're getting, and then we will go find food, and I'll probably have to come back and move the car because we're only at 40%, so that's going to charge really quickly again. So again, the beauty of this is that now, so it's saying we only need to charge for 20 minutes, and then we'll have enough to continue on our trip. So 150, yeah. So it topped out at 150, and now it's dropping down, but that's, you know, ridiculously fast. So we'll go find somewhere to eat, and I will come and move the car when I need to move it. Okay. So I actually reckon this is actually one of the best, in terms of facilities, supercharging locations that I've been to for a while.
It's pretty good.
Because it, like, literally just in front of us is a little shopping centre, and they've got a Subway, they've got bathrooms, they've got a little cafe, they've got a fair bit of things. Now, interesting with the charging, Archie, there's your water, puppy. Yeah. So we're at 92%.
Yep.
And it's saying, you know, don't stop at the next supercharger, go to the following supercharger. But we'll only get there with 5% and stay below 100 kilometres to reach there. Or while we're eating our lunch, we could just plug in quickly and then see how much charge we get in the next 5 minutes, maybe get up to 100%.
Yep.
And then see if it's going to get us to that one.
5% is pushing it.
Well, theoretically, so if we add 8%, so 8 plus 5 is 13. Hey. But look, okay, so let's plug in.
Okay.
To get that get up to 100%, we can relax and eat, so we're not stressed, and we'll see how we go. Also, if you're just wondering, it did rain while we were inside, and we were inside, what, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And charging a Tesla in the rain is absolutely no problem, just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have some lunch in 9 minutes, and then we'll head off and see what it's saying then.
See you then.
So we decided to stop. Well, we'd sort of eaten as much as we were going to, and we decided to stop the charging because we're paying 63 cents per kilowatt at 37 cents per kilowatt. We're not getting the supercharging anyway. So got up to 98%. Says we're going to be there at 7%, but we'll probably stop somewhere else, somewhere along the way before there to top up, and we'll see how we go. So let's head off. It was quite funny though. There's a couple of bins here right next to the charging station, and one of them has got written on it, "Not a Tesla bin." So
both.
Oh, both of them do. Okay. I wonder. Mandy was saying, I wonder what people have been chucking in that bin. Although I suppose, you know what, if there's lots of cars coming through to supercharge, and they're filling up the bin where other people need it, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Horsham looks like a lovely little town. We're actually thinking on the way back, because Mandy, you were saying that, like, you know, the drive through, where were we driving with Beaufort?
Yes,
Yeah,
Beaufort.
we were driving through Beaufort, and I said to Mandy, oh, like, it feels like this is a little town that would have a charger or something. And she had a look, and there were like 3. And there's lots of lovely little towns, like, along the way where it'd be nice to do the drive a bit slower and stop and check them out and see what there is to see and all that kind of stuff. So, and we've probably got a little bit more time on the way back.
Yeah.
Which might be this video, might be a different video. We'll see how we go. Yeah.
But we might stop. The idea was also we could do this over 2 days instead of doing it over 1. Archie already feels as though the 4 hours we've been in the car is already 8 hours. He feels like we should be at the hotel already. So the idea is perhaps what we'll do is on the way back, who knows, we might do it really slowly, stop in Horsham for the night, and then go home the next day. We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear. But yeah, so we're not going to... Oh, by the way, so you remember how earlier I was saying that there was no way this car was going to drive for 4 hours and 9 minutes in those conditions? But something I didn't think of is, I suppose if it was just one person in the car instead of 3 people in the car, and I didn't have all the luggage and all that kind of stuff, so and if it wasn't so windy and conditions were... I think it is possible, and I'm sure people in the comments are going to tell me that they've done it in a Model Y going straight from Melbourne to Horsham without having to stop. But I think with our situation and conditions,
yeah,
it was ambitious.
It was ambitious, as I feel though that this is ambitious.
Yes.
But I feel perhaps we can stop along the way. We don't have to do a supercharger. We could do somewhere between and then stop and find a Fox charger.
Yeah, or an EV charger,
Or an EV charger, or something.
Whatever.
Yes.
Like once we get into South Australia, there might be other ones. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? It's a whole new world.
And look at that already. It's. See, I don't know why. It's so.
It's so ambitious and optimistic. I feel as if the Tesla navigation is totally glass half full.
Yeah. Yeah, very glass half full.
Yeah. So we are going to go to Keith.
Yeah, it's already telling us to stop in Keith. So.
And we may not charge all that much. We may not do the whole charge up fully again.
Yeah.
Thing. So we will see how we go. But
Yeah,
Keith
we
it
will
is.
see how we go. Okay, off to Keith we go.
Quarantine restrictions.
Cool. So, as the quarantine restrictions being shouted out would suggest, we have just crossed the border into South Australia.
Where, according to my watch, it's 4:05.
And according to my watch, it's 4:36. So, this part of the car is clearly in the past. South Australia is half an hour behind Victoria. So, for some reason, Mandy's watch and phone has updated to the new time zone and mine hasn't yet. So, on the one hand, you could say Mandy's a bit slow. On the other hand, you could say I'm a bit ahead. Or the other way around. It goes both ways.
Or we're in two different states right now.
I'm trying to think of some dictatorial thing I can do quickly. You have your elections over there, and I'm going to have fun over here. So fairly uneventful hour or so. We got stuck behind a very oversized truck carrying like a tractor or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oversized truck carrying an oversized tractor.
Yes. And there was a truck behind that and two cars behind that. So it took us like 4 or 5 overtaking lanes to get ahead of it. So our efficiency is fantastic. It was saying we were going to get there with 31%. Now it's saying we're going to get there with 36%. And I was saying to Mandy, it's quite funny that, like, you know, I think one of the best bits of advice I ever got about driving electric car is to change the kilometers left on the battery to percentage. And I think because it's a bit more of an abstract thing, just for your mental health, it doesn't feel like if you said quarantine bin 2 kilometers ahead. Okay, so we've got to check out the bananas.
Yeah.
You know, if you sort of go, oh my goodness, I've only got 40 kilometers left on the battery, you stress. Whereas if you've only got 10%, it doesn't.
Can we just explain the quarantine bin situation?
Yes.
So South Australia is very, and South Australians, please correct me if I'm wrong, but very concerned with fruit fly. And so you can't bring any fruit, vegetables, plants, anything like that into South Australia from other states because the fruit fly can decimate the crops and really destroy the economy. So hence, you have your quarantine when if anyone comes to visit Australia, you have to throw away anything when you come into Australia. It's the same when you're going to South Australia. You've got to throw away any fresh fruit or veg, things like that. So we purposely didn't pack. I purposely didn't pack very many fresh produce items, but Archie's been eating some bananas and apples and things like that, and I think we've got a banana spare, so we're going to do the right thing and pull over and chuck the banana away. Quarantine, please use other bin, and so there's a bin over there. So it's restricted. It's fruit, vegetables, plants, grapevines, and soil. And livestock, we have no livestock. So I think
Archie wouldn't count.
No, not
He's
quite.
not listening. It's no
listening.
fun.
No. All right,
I still heard you.
You still heard me? Okay.
Archie,
I didn't hear what you actually.
do you have your spare banana?
I ate it.
Did you eat both of them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Did you eat all the cucumbers?
Yes.
Okay.
So we didn't actually need
We didn't even need to stop.
Well, it was good for the video.
Okay.
Now, Archie, would you like to do a little bit of this interview thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that while we're here. Still 4:38 on this side of the car.
Well, it's 4:08.
Oh no, that truck's going to get ahead of us.
Oh no. Okay.
What?
Okay, it is recording. Okay, Archie.
Right.
Yeah, put that on.
Where?
Just put on your shirt.
Just put it on your shirt.
We don't want the big truck to get ahead of us. All right, so we didn't actually need to pull over because Archie ate both of the bananas.
And there's the big truck behind us.
Yay, big truck's behind us and not in front of us. But yes, so that's the right thing to do when you're coming into South Australia.
Okay, Archie, can I show you how that works? So Archie, tell me, how has the trip been for you?
Very exciting so far.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were pretty excited going into this trip, weren't you?
Yes.
Why were you so excited about going into the trip?
Because I was really excited that I didn't have to really go to school.
So you're missing a few days of school, so you're excited about that. And so how have you been spending your time on the drive?
Mostly on my iPad and on my Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, and other than that, what are some of the things that we've seen on the drive? Can you remember some of the things we've seen on the drive?
Yes. A wind farm.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few wind farms.
When we stopped and took a picture at
Giant Koala.
Giant Koala.
Yeah, the Giant Koala. And we saw the painted milk silos.
Yes.
Yeah, you saw the bird painted on that. That was pretty cool. And we've had lots of great views of all the canola fields.
Yes.
Yeah, that's been very cool.
And we saw a really long freight truck.
Yeah, and we saw a really...
Really long train.
Anything else you'd like to say? How has the car been comfortable? Have you been good back there?
Yeah, I've been good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you'd like to say?
Maybe after this I'll take a bit of a nap.
Okay, well, Archie's going to have a nap. We're going to keep driving. We've got 34 minutes until we get to Keith. And I think we'll probably get Archie some dinner.
Yep.
Maybe get some else. Well, we got plenty of food. We got plenty of snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, we're probably going to wrap this video up tomorrow because at the moment it's suggesting that we will get to Adelaide by 8:20 tonight. And the GoPros are not fantastic in low light, so they will struggle to see us.
And Mandy is not great at night times because she'll struggle to stay awake.
Yeah, and also the reason why, so originally the car was predicting that we'd get there at 7:30, 7:40ish. And the reason is we had to do an extra stop for the bathroom for Mandy and Archie in Nihil.
Yes, Nihil,
yeah. And then also we had
the truck.
Yeah, we had the truck to get past, and also we pulled over, which is how the truck got ahead of us. We pulled over to get some really cool drone footage, which I might play for you now, so you can see some pretty lovely drone footage with the canola. Unfortunately, the sun wasn't out, and then the sun came out. This was the problem. Like, we drove past a few side roads where the canola fields were, and I was like, oh, we should stop and do the drones, but it'll make us later. And the thing is, I very really regret pulling over to get a shot.
Yeah.
It's interesting how this drive's been quite different compared to the drive to Sydney, because the Sydney's all highway, so it's all like 3-4 lane highway, whereas this is a lot just sort of single lane.
A lot of going through little towns, slowing down.
Country roads.
Yeah.
So even though the distance is probably a little bit less than the distance to Sydney, it probably takes a little bit longer to drive because, first of all, you're on a lot more single lane roads. So if you get stuck behind something, it takes a while to overtake it. But also you're slowing down quite often to go through the country towns, whereas the Sydney one is just highway.
Yeah, it just
pretty much the whole
bypasses
way.
all of them.
Yeah.
And also, we left a lot later than you would normally leave, right?
Yes.
We left like 9:30ish or so.
Yeah.
You'd normally leave at like 6:30 in the morning.
Yes. So 3 hours difference.
And so so your drive to Sydney's longer, but you leave earlier, and so I mean maybe we leave earlier, who knows? But it's it feels late getting in at 8:30.
Yes.
And that's a psychological thing as well. Like it's.
Or does it mean we're getting there at 8?
Possibly.
because
Oh,
of the time difference.
wait, it's changed.
Okay, so the car has changed. Oh, and my watch has changed.
And it's saying 7:51. But
So Melbourne time we were going to get there at 8:20, but Adelaide time we're going to get there at 7:51. So
still late, but
what's half an hour between friends? And also we're probably completely blown out because the sun's directly on us. But yeah, so we will log off now and come back to you in about 25 minutes or so when we are a few minutes outside of Keith. We are 5 minutes out from Keith. The car actually started preconditioning quite a while ago. It started with we were about 25 minutes out. Again, we've been stuck behind trucks most of the way, so even though it's a 110k zone, we've been doing 100 k's most of the time, and it has done wonders for our efficiency.
this is true.
I mean, you can see like this has been the most efficient part of the entire trip, the entire charge. You know, so if you look down here, it shows what our current drive is between charge, and that's for the entire trip. So
It's been very efficient battery-wise, not necessarily efficient time-wise.
yes, and we were sort of talking about this in the sense of that it'd be interesting, you know, if the show Mythbusters was still on, it'd be really cool to hand them this challenge and sort of say to them, right, work out that if you drive at like a slightly lower speed, but then the battery's more efficient, so you can get further, so you can sort of skip charging stops, would that be better? Or do you drive at the speed limit and then you might have to stop more often to charge, but you're charging quicker, and so you get, like, I'm not sure which one gets you there faster.
Yeah. And like, bearing in mind that we've stopped for longer than we've necessarily needed to at the two spots that we've stopped. And only by a little bit, not a heck of a lot.
But also, that happens on every trip that I've taken, where majority of the time, my problem is that the car charges faster than it takes me to pee.
Yeah.
And so I always end up charging a little bit more than what the car recommended because I can't get back to the car in time.
Yeah. And this came down to my thing of saying, I think that the way to go would be really lovely, kind of utopia, would be to have super fast chargers at every petrol station, so that people don't feel the need to stop at every charger, because they know, okay, well, there'll be another one coming up, and I don't have to charge a lot at every one. If I need to stop and go to the loo, I can just stop and go to the loo, and that's give me whatever it gives me, and then keep going. And that way you get that infrastructure and you get that mentality of like lack of range anxiety.
And you know, and I mean, basically you're describing petrol stations.
I am. Like, if only we could have all of that stuff as a petrol station, but like an electric charging with all that kind of stuff there.
And and we'll get there.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the things where, you know, it'll feel like we're not getting there fast enough, but when I think about what's happened just in the last 12 months.
Oh, 100%. And the fact that all these little towns that we've driven through, when I've looked in PlugShare, they're one, if not two or three chargers in all these little places. And I think that's brilliant. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And obviously we've been doing just the supercharging, but we didn't have to. We could have stopped elsewhere.
Yeah. So we're a minute out.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to really focus because I have a tendency of not concentrating as much as I should.
And missing turn-offs?
And missing turn-offs, yeah. So
I hadn't noticed, really.
yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.
It looks like we're turning in here.
Into a very side road.
Yes. Maybe? Yes.
Yes,
and then up next to the Holden Farmers Centre. And it's at the near Matson Motors.
Again, I've said this in videos before, like Tesla makes good
There it
money.
is.
You could, wow, there's one, no, there's more. Okay, so there's one for trailers and then two for,
Okay, see, I like this, that there's one for trailers.
yeah. But seriously, like,
It's random,
Tesla,
right?
you can afford a couple of signs.
Yeah.
Really, you know, put some stickers up somewhere, just to make it easier to find
Yeah.
the superchargers. This is quite fancy. They've got like a little label on the ground. That's kind of cool.
Ooh. But see, I like this. They've got the one there for trailers, because also if they open this up for non-Teslas, some of the non-Tesla EVs have the charging the front or things.
Well, let me just plug in quickly. We'll see what kind of speeds we're getting.
All right.
So the way you can tell if it's a newer or an older charger, the newer chargers have only got the one plug, whereas these older chargers have got the plug for our car, which is
Yep.
the CCS2, and it's also got the plug for the Model S's and the Model X's.
Yes.
So we are charging at 131 kilowatts, so that's pretty good, and we only need to stay here for 10 minutes until we get going, so we can just chill. There doesn't seem to be much. Oh, maybe there's some stuff. You know, I think probably if we just look sort of down the road there, like around the corner, I think there's like the main road.
But we could also keep going to Tailem Bend.
Yeah. So I think we'll just do the 10 minutes here and then get to the next one. So very, very quick charging stop. I think we were here not even 10 minutes at the most. Enough time for Archie to run around a bit, have his chocolate chip cookie. He's said he's okay to keep going, and we'll be at the next supercharger in Tailem Bend in an hour and 9 minutes. We should be down to 23. We'll probably be down to about 15%, knowing how things have been going.
Yep.
By the time we get there, but that's just an hour and 15 minutes away. So, yeah, very quick charging stop here.
Yep. On we go. There's really not much around here. I mean, there may be something a little bit further, and as I think as we're driving past there, it might be, but it's a little bit.
Well, I reckon it. Well, look. So there's a bakery right here on the corner.
Okay. Yeah.
Which
but it's
is
closed.
And it looks like that is sort of like one of the little main drags here.
But everything's closed.
That's fair enough. Cool silos.
Very cool silos.
But yes, I think. Yeah, the location's a bit odd.
And really,
cool fountain.
I like the
Yeah,
fountain.
very nice.
Okay, well there is a coffee place that's open there. So as I was going to say, is I'm kind of hoping that when we get to Tailem Bend, that stuff will be
and there's an
open.
IGA. It's interesting though in the sense that, you know, there's stuff around, but again the problem is the cars charge so quickly that you don't have time to walk half a block to, you know, get a pie or something, and you got to get back to the car. So as we said, okay, the one in Horsham is at the best location, right? There's actually stuff around, which is great, and there's also like a car park there. So if you do need to move your car quickly because you finish charging, you can just shift your car into a spot nearby. That one is just, I mean, I understand it, but it's a bit of a one-horse. But it is very pretty.
It's very pretty, but again, it's on the outskirts of it, so you'd have to go for a bit of a wander, and then again, the car charges so quickly that. Because our original thought was that we were going to stop and have dinner there.
Yes.
For Archie.
Just as well we didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll actually probably look up on the phone if there's stuff in Tailem Bend.
We'll do now.
Otherwise, we might stop somewhere else along the way. But yeah, so we should get to Tailem Bend with 23%. I'm going to predict
15.
18. Yeah,
I'm going with 15.
Depends how many trucks we get stuck behind, because we could end up with even more percentage because of trucks and whatnot. And it's saying that at Tailem Bend we only need to charge for 16 minutes. Now it's predicting we'll get there with 24%.
Oh.
Which is technically better. But we're going to charge a bit longer because I don't want to get to our hotel with only 10%.
Yes.
Because there's a couple of charges near the hotel, which I'll probably go for a walk tomorrow morning, and what I'll do is I'll drive to one of the chargers, plug the car, and then go for an hour walk and just charge it up in the morning, just so we've got a little bit of charge to use, and those charges will be cheaper than a supercharger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to. We'll definitely charge a little bit longer at Tailem Bend because I don't want to get to Adelaide with only 10%.
Fair call.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much all we need to talk about, and we will see you in about an hour and 5, hour and 6-ish, just before we're getting into Tailem Bend. We'll see what the situation is like there.
And who wins the charging charging vets.
Yes, and it might almost be a situation where, you know, like right now, we're overexposed because the sun is, you know, we're driving west and the sun's coming straight at us. By the time we get to Tailem Bend, the sun might be going down.
And you'll be like, who are those people talking to us?
Yeah,
Can't see
yeah,
these shadows.
turn the lights on, hope for the best. Yes, we will see you then. Well, the sun has pretty much set. Will be interesting to see what this camera looks like, because we had it set to locked exposure and all that kind of stuff during the day, and we had an ND filter on it, so it hopefully looked as good as it could. But we've turned all of that off and turned it on to auto and go as bright as you want with the ISO. So I'm looking at the front screen. It looks like we're a lot brighter than we actually are, but
Yes.
I dread to think what the quality of that footage is, but
Don't think too much.
I'll live with it. We're 3 minutes out from what should be our last charging stop. It's been a long day.
It's been a day.
It's been a day. This has been one of the most efficient parts of the drives, mostly because we got stuck behind. Well, actually, no,
It's not anymore.
not anymore. It felt like we got stuck behind a lot more trucks.
Well, we did. We got stuck behind quite a few trucks, but I don't know,
Well, look at that. We've lost almost 2%
just on the wind.
because of the wind. So,
And neither of us seem to have been right with our predictions, although you were pretty close originally, because you did say 18%, it did get down to 19% predicted,
yeah.
and we're back to 20%, just dropped a percentage.
So who knows? But we're only 3 minutes out.
Yeah.
So the weirdest thing happened when we left Keith. So we left Keith, it was 80 kilometers an hour, then it was 110 kilometers an hour, and then the car decided it was 80 kilometers, the speed limit was 80 kilometers again. And I couldn't, like, if I put it into cruise control was locked to 80 k's an hour. Now you can change that, but you can't change that while you're driving. And so if I put it into cruise control and autopilot, the autopilot, you know, the
Lane assist.
it would keep me in the lane, but I had to put my foot down to get us to 110. And the way that I knew it was 110 is I actually got Mandy to bring Apple Maps up on her phone and check, and Apple Maps was like, yeah, it was 110. I thought it was 110 because I was doing 80 and everyone was doing a lot more.
Yep.
And it was, I mean, that lasted a good 5 minutes.
Possibly a bit longer.
Possibly a bit longer than 5. It was so.
And of course, there are absolutely no speed signs. When you want a speed sign, no speed signs.
Yeah, so there seemed to be no way for the car to, oh, there's a speed sign, oh, it's 110, I'll change it. So it wasn't getting it from the map, and it's not like there was a road that was parallel to us, so it thought, you know, that it was parallel to us. Now, I'm going to shut up because we're 1.6 k's away.
Yeah.
So I must focus.
But yeah, and then it just corrected itself. So it was 80 and suddenly it flipped and said, oh yeah, this is 110. As if it was kind of not paying attention, much like Lee does sometimes.
But not now.
Yes, not now.
I am paying attention.
Now he's paying attention.
Also because it says we have to turn onto unnamed road in 800 meters. So I'm a bit concerned that it's not going to be particularly signposted.
Well, it looks perhaps like it's into that whole
Yeah, it looks
section
like there's a whole shopping centre there. So
which is good because then we can get some food.
yes.
In case Lee hasn't realised, I'm hungry, and Archie is hungry. Yeah, Motorsport Park.
Okay.
So,
And there are the chargers.
ooh, are they taken? Nope,
Nope. I think there might be one. Nope, no one there.
no one there.
No one there. One sadly on the ground.
Oh, poor Tesla charger.
Archie, would you like to plug the car in? Okay, see if you can go. If you have any trouble, let me know. Now, it's saying that if we left here, we would get to our destination with minus 18. But it's also saying that we should charge here for 15 minutes.
Okay.
We'll charge for a bit longer, so
Yes.
we'll be fine. So, 32 kilowatts, 48 kilowatts, 67, 86, 105, 123, 143. Oh, you can hear it kicking in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interestingly, it says 8 minutes remaining to continue trip.
Well, because it was saying we would get to Adelaide with 10%. So if we left in 8 minutes,
Yeah.
we would have enough
And it
charge.
said recommended to charge 15%, and now it's saying 8%. Sorry, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and now 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it didn't know how fast it was going to charge, so
Yes.
it waited to plug in,
100%.
and then it would.
Yeah.
Right, let's go get some food.
Yep.
And pee, and we'll see how we go. We will catch you up soon. Well, how was dinner?
Delicious. Absolutely gourmet.
Amazing.
Well, Archie enjoyed his dinner.
It was gourmet. It was quite international.
Yes, we got the Thai beef broccoli from
Walk in a box.
Walk in a Box. To be fair, like, this is how you were just saying, this is how chargers should be.
Yes.
Chargers should be at service centres, there's facilities, there's a little
Yep.
jungle gym thing for Archie to play on. We charged the car up to 85%, way more than we needed to, but that means we should get to where we're staying with 47%, so we're not stressed about finding a charger tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
If I find one, great. If not, I'll do something during the day.
Yeah.
We will cheekily ask them at the hotel if they've got a parking spot near a power port.
You know what? It doesn't hurt to ask.
Can't hurt to ask. And you'll notice that Navigate on Auto is back
back.
on, because we're now on a highway or something, I guess.
I don't know.
I
Who
don't know.
knows?
It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day.
So let's turn everything off and get going. Well, no, we'll leave things on, but yeah, let's get going.
Okay.
Okay, well, you probably can't see us. Kind of. Oh no, you can sort of see us coming in and out. We are about to approach. There's been signs leading up to where we're headed, saying long steep descent ahead. So I'm guessing we're about to. Yeah, long steep descent. There we go. 500 meters ahead. Now here's the really cool thing about electric cars and the whole regen thing, because we're currently at 49%, and somehow it's predicting that the car will be at 50% when we get to our destination in 20 kilometers. I'm guessing we're going to regen like a regen-y thing down this hill.
Very long, steep descent. Keeps telling us
Of
the
course.
next 7 kilometers.
And now it's saying we have to go 40 k's an hour, so that's...
We may not regen very much.
No, we'll regen even more
Oh,
because...
you're right.
Because gravity is trying to get the car to go
Ooh.
faster, and I'm just going to change lanes so that we're definitely out of people's way, and let's see how this goes. Of course, we're going so slowly, it's very anticlimactic.
So here we go. Slowly, slowly.
Very, very slowly.
All trucks and buses to use the left lane.
Okay, so
Use left lanes and less overtaking.
okay, so we will stay in the left lane. So okay, so we're at 49%. Oh, and as usual, I'm the only schmuck doing the speed limit when it's 40. Oh no, there we go. These people are slowing down now because there's if there's traffic, then we're not going to regen that much because we've got to keep moving
To regen.
to regen. But we'll see how we
There's
go.
traffic.
No, it's just people going slowly. Okay, I think this truck's going even slower than 40, so we'll...
Well, because this trucks, they've been warned.
They've been warned. I can't believe we're going 40 and we're just barely... Oh, this poor truck. He must be going so slow.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting on our way.
We're up to 50%.
Yeah, so we've gained 1%. It'll be interesting coming out of Adelaide because we'll have to go up this hill
Yes.
to
Leave.
This is very slowly thrilling.
No, thrilling is the word. It's something. We're up to 51.
51.
Wake me up when we're there.
It'll be a while.
Jesus. Oh my God, this is quite boring. No, your video's amazing. It's not boring.
We're going slow enough that you can stick your head out the window. Can we go faster?
Please.
60, 90.
I'm going with 60.
That was a quick change. Just as we get to the one of the hill.
Yep. But we got to 51% from 49.
I still don't see how we're going to drive 14 kilometers,
Yep.
21 minutes,
And only lose 1%.
and only lose 1%. Maybe there's more downhill to come.
Yes. There must be, because that's his last chance at a safety ramp. Because the whole...
Adelaide! Archie, Adelaide! There's the sign.
Adelaide. Okay, yes, to Glenelg.
Adelaide.
Sorry?
At least we're in Adelaide.
We are, and we're... Ooh, the roads are nice and flat.
52%. Okay, well that was a thing.
Anticlimactic.
Well, but yeah. We'll turn the cameras off and we'll catch up when we get there. So you'll notice we're not in the car anymore, and this is because this is actually what, like a month late, like
Basically a month.
yeah, almost a month since we got back. September was very busy. So we got to Adelaide, which was lovely. We had a nice couple of days with some friends there. Archie was very well behaved. I'm very, very proud of him. He was
Yes.
very good.
He did get people to subscribe to his YouTube channel and not yours, but
Yeah, I'll link it. I'll link it in the description below. He doesn't post that often. His editor's a bit slack. That would be me. But yeah, so we talked about whether we were going to go back sort of slowly, do it overnight sort of thing. But what actually happened was we found out that Archie was going to get an award at his school on the Friday at assembly. So we thought, right, well, let's drive back on the Thursday, get back so we're back in time for him to get to school.
yeah,
So we left nice and early.
very early. I think we left like 7.
Yeah, we left about 7 o'clock in the morning, and the weather was less than ideal.
It rained the entire day.
In fact, it was quite cool. Like if you watch the weather, like if you watch the radar, the band of rain sort of travelled with us to Victoria.
I've never ever experienced like 10 hours of just rain. Yeah.
It was less than pleasant. The car, except for one little hiccup,
Yep.
the car was great. You know, everything was pretty easy. Everything was pretty straightforward. The hiccup was quite a hiccup, though.
Quite a hiccup. It was, yeah. Look, for someone who's had a little bit of a range anxiety, it didn't help.
No, just the car just had more range anxiety. Okay, so let me explain what happened. So the first stop was, I forget the name. Tailem Bend. Yep, so that was at the service station. That was fine. We stopped there, topped up a little bit. That was cool. We then got to Keith, which was the next stop. And so there's Keith and then Horsham and then Ballarat. Yeah. And so we got up to about like 92, 95% battery because we stopped for a pie and some stuff.
Yeah, so we had a cup of tea. We didn't, because we left so early as well, we weren't really stressed out about it. So we stopped for a bit longer at Tailem Bend that we needed to, and we stopped longer at Keith.
Yeah. And that's where things got interesting. So we decided to...
But also, like, let's just say, when we got, going from Tailem Bend to Keith, it was less than ideal weather. It was really windy, really rainy, and we got into Keith with less than we were expecting.
Yes.
Less than it originally predicted. So I think we got into Keith at, I want to say we were in the teens for percentage-wise.
Yeah.
Like probably like 13, 14%, which was a lot less than had been predicted.
Yeah. So we're prepping you for this because what happened was, the car got to like 90% and it kept saying like, no, you can't leave. You have to stop. Like basically you have to charge at Keith. And we're like, but we're at Keith. And we were like, no, we definitely know that we can get to Horsham with plenty of percentage. Like we'll be fine. And we thought, okay, well, we'll stay here like till 95% or something like that. We got to 95%. We drove away, and as we're driving away, the car's like sort of going, no, go back to Keith. You have to charge. There's no charges between you and Ballarat. We're like, but there's Horsham. Like, we'll make it to Horsham. And the car's like, no, you won't.
Yep.
And
no, don't go, turn around.
Yeah, it actually was saying like, turn around. And we're like,
Yep.
And to the point, like, so Mandy started getting a bit nervous,
Just a little bit.
which is fair enough. And so even like we pulled up PlugShare and we looked, and there was a Chargefox charger between where we were and Horsham, and I was like, stuff this, we're just driving to Horsham, and when we get sort of halfway, like, I mean, we had to turn the map off because we had to turn navigation off because otherwise navigation kept going, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. And so we turned that off, and then when we got about halfway, we turned it back on, and it was like, oh no, you're making a Horsham with plenty, don't worry about it, like that'll be fine. We're like, well, what were you paying? It's almost like I'm almost glad that we can't have an actual conversation with the car, because that would have been an interesting conversation.
But yeah, the car got range anxiety. The car freaked out and was like, the weather's been awful. I don't know what the weather's going to be like the rest of it. This is terrible. I didn't have much battery getting to Keith. We're going to die.
Okay, that last one's a bit of an exaggeration.
Just a little bit.
Little disclaimer. It's
Just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. So, but other than that,
it was smooth.
yeah, and yeah, the rest of the drive was fine. After we turned the navigation back on, everything was fine. Everything was cool. Charging stops were pretty quick. So, what was your? You've just watched a couple of days ago. I've just hopefully finished editing the marathon that you've just watched, and we're now finishing this video. Overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts was that it was a really, really smooth experience. I have less range anxiety than I did before we did the big trip, because this was my first big trip. I think I've also, for me, I know like if I've got in my head, I've planned 3 or 4 stops, I need to kind of stick to those, because I could see that the car kept on trying to be optimistic or be
very pessimistic.
Very pessimistic. But if we kept to those and go, okay, we know we've got that in mind, that's fine. The other thing I found really interesting was that, yes, we did it all on superchargers, but as we were looking in PlugShare as we were driving, there are so many chargers along the way that it can only get better. Like it's an easy drive to do. It can only get better.
And it's interesting because so we're now beginning of October when we're filming this, and there was just I presume that there was a long, like, all our schools went back last week, but I presume New South Wales or Queensland.
Yeah, I think there's like a week's difference.
Yeah, so I've just seen on social media a few posts about some people posting how they had to wait 20 minutes to get to it, and this was at superchargers up in Queensland and New South Wales. So yes, there are busier times of the year when lots of people are traveling, and the thing is, I get there's that challenge of, putting in a whole bunch of superchargers costs a lot of money, and if they're sitting there idle for most of the year and you only really need a huge bank of them, 2 or 3 times a year when people are coming back or going away on holiday, I can see from the point of view of the people who are putting in the chargers, I can see their perspective of why they're not putting in as many.
Yeah. But this comes back to the thing that I kept saying along the way. What ideally to see is you see fast chargers, super fast chargers at every single petrol station, which means that if you're driving, you're like, oh, well, those 2 ones are busy, but I can get to the next one, right? Like I don't need to stop right now. Where at the moment, especially if you're doing it only with superchargers, you go, well, I've got to get to Gundagai, or I've got to get wherever, and then you wait. Yeah. So it's changing attitudes that way.
And again, I've said this before in this video, but I'll say it again. This is only when you're talking about long drives.
Yes, 100%.
Just every day-to-day use, like, the car's in the driveway now. We haven't charged it all week. It's down to about 70%, 74%, and we'll charge it in a couple of days' time. It's like a petrol car where you don't fill it up. You can fill it up every day, which is cool because our petrol station is a plug on the side of the wall.
Yep.
But we don't have to fill it up all the time. So yeah, it's interesting, and I think again it's a bit of chicken and egg. Like the more it was like there were sort of enough chargers for enough cars. Now that so many more people are getting more electric cars, now the chargers are having to sort of try and catch up and keep up and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but
I also say is that for me, I know some people are like, oh, is the Model Y a comfortable drive and all these kind of things. You're not a car guy. I'm not a car person either, really. But it was a really comfortable drive. Driving from Melbourne to Adelaide isn't quite like driving to Sydney, because Sydney's all freeways the whole way, right? Driving to Adelaide, you're driving through country towns and you're slowing down, and the roads maybe aren't necessarily amazing because they're a single lane and things like that. I found a really comfortable drive. It's not something I'd say that, you know, I'd be happy to sit in the car for entire days, but it was a comfortable drive. So it was, you know, we packed the car for family trip. It's got lots of space. It's got, you know, we didn't have any issue packing stuff. We could have packed more. We were already on our way for 2 days. Didn't need to pack more, but we could have packed more.
Yep.
So I love the car, and I'm a little bit, and you know, I would like to have one for myself. And I'm driving to Daylesford at the end of the month, and I'm hoping I'm allowed to take the car, but we'll see. We'll negotiate.
Why not? I don't think. No, that's. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk.
We'll talk. Just going back a step to, you know, you're comparing it, the difference between Melbourne and Sydney and Melbourne and Adelaide. It is. I think that it's the same thing in terms of charging infrastructure. Like there's. Actually, no, I don't think so. Like it's about the same amount of charges, maybe a few more, but on average, it doesn't feel like there's fewer or more charges in either direction, sort of thing. There's also the fact that you're not just limited to, if you're driving a Tesla, to the superchargers. So there are the non-Tesla chargers which you can use, and now there's quite a few Tesla chargers that non-Tesla drivers can use. So that's getting a lot better. And also there's the whole thing of, you know, if you didn't want to do it in one go, that's a much more comfortable.
Oh, so much better.
I wouldn't say, not comfortable, but it's more relaxed.
More relaxed, 100% more relaxed. I will say, I think that for the Tesla stations that non-Tesla drivers can use, they need to be signposted really well, because the chargers aren't even signposted well to start with, so that needs to be improved, because you're going to get a lot more people who are using
non-Tesla drivers who are using the Tesla superchargers,
and it needs to be signposted better.
Yeah, and their whole thing was, oh, it's in the app. And fair enough, everything's in the app these days. So yep, no, fair enough. But if there is the option to put up a couple of stickers or something, just to make it clear and all that kind of stuff.
Like I'm just picturing my parents, for example. Yeah. Like they would, it'll be in the app. It'll be there, but for my mother, for your mother, which is, you know, kind of thing, they'd be happier with signposting.
They would. I will, though, say that, and I think I'm speaking from a position of experience here, and I have to be very delicate with what I say, but I am sort of tech support for our parents.
This is true.
And they're not fans of reading stuff.
We love you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. They don't watch this. At least my mum doesn't watch it. Like she'll go, oh, what? Does the car do this? I'm like, you don't watch my videos, do you? Because I covered that in my video. Anyway... but different people communicate in different ways.
They do.
And it is the company's responsibilities to try and communicate as best as possible, depending on your best way to communicate to those customers.
This is true. I feel like we're getting slightly off the point.
Yes, that's true.
But yeah.
So yeah, look, overall, it was a good trip. I'm really glad that you're far more relaxed about stuff now. Again, it's one of the things, like, once you've experienced it, you know, and again, it wasn't perfect. No. So we did have a few, you know, you got to see the good and the bad sort of thing.
Yep. The A wasn't very high.
I was just about to get onto the enhanced autopilot. I think if you were doing a lot of drives between Sydney and Melbourne, maybe Sydney and Queen, you know, Brisbane kind of thing. I don't know what that road is like, but yeah, then enhanced autopilot on highways, really handy, really good. On country roads and things like that, it's not bad, but it's not as good as it could be. There is work to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very diplomatic.
Yes. Well, it's difficult to design things, particularly technology, for, I won't say edge cases, but compared to the amount of people who drive in the world, the amount of people just driving between Adelaide and Melbourne. Yeah.
Okay. Fair call. Yeah. Fair call.
But a lot of people live rurally. And so it would be nice if those sorts of things took into consideration, work just as well in rural environments as they do in built up highway sort of environments. Yeah. So yeah, look, I think that's it. If you've made it through this marathon, well done. Thank you very much. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was useful. If it has been helpful or useful, please like and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much for your support, and we'll catch you on the next one. Safe and happy driving. That's when, yeah, so we got to Keith with 20%.
20%.
20%. Yeah, it's saying Horsham is 201 kilometres away.
Yeah.
We've got 365 kilometres of range. You're not going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And it was saying enough charge to continue trip, but not really.
But then, yeah, but then not really. And then
charging need to, like, it gets...
charging needed to reach your destination. And we're like, but you what? Like, it, yeah. I don't know. Maybe, again, like you say, maybe it was the conditions.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But, yeah.
Imagine if we're still filming on film. We're wasting so much film.
Oh my God. But like, I've never, ever been in an empty tunnel before. It's a little bit weird.
Stick your head out and see if there's an echo.
No. Thank you, but no.
As long as you have food. I learned this on our honeymoon, that Mandy gets hangry.
Mm-hmm.
Where, see, we were walking around, we were in Barcelona and walking around having a lovely time, taking photos, and Mandy says, oh, I'm getting hungry, we're going to need to eat soon. And to me, that means, we'll keep walking around the city, enjoying ourselves, and if we spot something nice to eat, we'll stop and we'll eat. What Mandy meant was, stop now or I will kill you.
It's 5 minutes away from stop now and I will kill you.
Yeah.
And then we kept going, and eventually I was like, we will stop here. I don't care what they serve.
Yeah, pretty much.
Toasted sandwiches, fine. But yes, so feed me, see more, and I will be happy.
Get right onto that.
Oh,
Do.
and as usual, I'm the only schmuck doing the speed limit when it's 40. Yeah.
No, I used to really like the smell of petrol.
Really?
I'm weird, I know.
I married you. This is a concern.
Yeah, what does it say about you?
I
I have to live with me. You choose to be here.
didn't know about this love of the smell of petrol.
Well, I mean, I haven't experienced it in a long, long time, because when was the last time I was near petrol?
Yeah, this is true. Don't know if I'd feel comfortable buying rub steak from a petrol station.
Depends on what they marinated in.
How fresh it is, really.
A few minutes outside of Keith, it sounds quite gross. No, actually, Archie's not. Archie's a camel.
He is a camel.
Yeah.
And then he pees for like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you hear the pitter-patter of the sprinting to the bathroom down the hall, and then you could read a book while he's... Anyway, we probably shouldn't be discussing that.
Probably not.
No.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. And of course the rain has started.
It was then predicting that we were going to get to Keith with 12%. And for my next trick, I will speak. You can also, and this person is going to, almost, I wonder how you got that dent in the side of your car, buddy. You can't, wow, he changed lanes rather quickly.
Ooh. It's in a rush.
Yes. My whole thing is, well, maybe leave earlier and plan your trip better.
He's in a rush to get to his next car accident.
Harsh but fair. So yeah, we can see we do 100. Not put my hands on the wall. You see how it's flashing blue there? So if you don't put a little bit of tension, I'm putting. What? It's weird how the map's got us going around and it, like it's right there, but it wants us to go around.
Maybe it's a hard.
Yeah, maybe
way to
it's,
get
maybe
in,
you can't turn right. Maybe it's
Yeah.
easy to turn right. Simon, you'll be thrilled to know that even the car's now telling me to not turn right. Not my fault.
As we're driving closer to Ballarat, it's getting windier. I don't know why.
I thought the way
No.
the way you said that, it sounded like Ballarat was a particularly windy place.
No,
Okay,
ignore me.
okay. It's not windy Wellington
No, it's not.
for some reason. Okay, so recording on all cameras.
Yep.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Settle down. That's embarrassing. You know when you get a new toy and you're trying to show off to your friends with the new toy and the new toy doesn't work properly? Yeah, that.
Yep. That.
We should have started recording after this one. Once we were just on the open road, as they say.
Well, it's entertaining footage.
It's real.
It's
Ooh,
real.
CX4. I think those are electric Volvos.
They do look like electric Volvos. They have no
Grill.
grill.
Oh, now the sun's blaring on us.
It won't be for long.
Sorry, that was my bad.
It won't be for long.
So the way that you turn on autopilot, actually no, I'm going to do this because the sun's blaring on us right now, so we're probably overexposed a little bit.
Okay.
Although the GoPro is sort of auto-exposed, so it's probably all right. But yeah, let's just get onto the right highway,
That would be great.
and then I will explain to you how autopilot kind of works.
It
Actually,
does work.
Why is it? Oh, it's showing where we came from. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I was a little bit confused there.
Yeah. It took us on a scenic route.
Yes. Now let's see how it handles getting onto this thing. Don't worry, I'm in.
Do I need to close my eyes?
Maybe. We're getting so many T-shirts printed off from this trip. The A is not very I. Do I need to close my eyes? That can be on the back of that T-shirt. Ooh, Archie. Look at the A380. The A380, that's coming in, that's a double-decker jumbo jet. Let's not call it jumbo because it's not a 747. But that is a double-decker Airbus coming in from Los Angeles. I think that's the LA flight. Singapore comes in later. Now, to turn on the lane keep assist, or what Apple calls autopilot, you
Apple?
push. Whoops.